Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Lionel, class of 2009, back with another episode of PV versus everybody. And I don't think anything needs to be said. I mean, when you know that greatness is in the building, hey, listen, you just get in line, all right? And that's what I'm gonna do, right? So I'm gonna just get out y'all way in a second, but y'all know we got to go through these preliminaries first. Y'all know we got to go through the preliminaries first. So listen, first and foremost, if you're not following us on Twitter, if you're not following us on Instagram, make sure you're following us over on those platforms, PV_versus_ everybody. Your boy Elon Musk is tripping, hating on us. All right. He ain't letting us live stream the X anymore without a premium account. He tripping on us. It's okay. All right, he tripping, but it's okay. All right, but y'all can follow us over on those platforms, right? We got some great content, some great conversation going on in both of those places. And listen, like and subscribe to the channel. All right, y'all know what the goal is: 500 subs by the fall. And what do I spy through my little eye? I see we're right there. We're in reach. We're in grasp. All right, listen, we're about 2 subscribers away. So if you're watching this video, you know you're not subscribed to the channel, hey, listen, go ahead and take us over. Go ahead and take us over that hump. Go and subscribe to the channel, right? Show some love. Just go and hit that red button, all right, so we can go and push above that 500 sub, you know what I'm saying, mark. And if y'all didn't know, you know, I'm just gonna keep reminding y'all, this year's gonna be a movie, so we making movies, all right? We making movies because this year's gonna be a movie, right? You got the No Script on the Hill. The official trailer is out. You guys can watch that on Instagram, on YouTube. And I'm going to tell you something. We got the 2 producers, all right? The 2 producers of this docu-series coming on Wednesday to talk a little bit about the process, talk about, you know, the idea, just to give you guys a little background information about what they're going on. I'm super excited about what they're building and what they put together. I think it's just awesome as they're highlighting the student athletes and just highlighting the program in general. So we're going to talk a little bit about that on Wednesday. So make sure you guys are locked into the platform for that as well, man. And if you have not seen it yet, make sure y'all check out the video. The guy Kerry came on, talked about that PV all SWAC watch list, just the individuals we think who have an opportunity this year to be all SWAC players, right? Talked about the numbers they would probably need to hit if they want to be in that conversation. And so that was a really good video. Make sure you go check that out as well. But before we bring up greatness, man, just got a quick commercial break, you know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna get into it. So y'all see it, 15,051. That's what we need to set the record this year at the Labor Day Classic for the highest attendance in Panther Stadium history. So listen, that's what we're pushing for. But man, when you talk about putting up numbers, you know what I'm saying? You talk about making history. I mean, who else do you think about when you think about that purple and gold than that guy, KJ Black? What's going on, my guy? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to be here, bro. I just wanted to tell you before we even start, I appreciate you for creating this platform, because this is something that PV Nation has needed for a long time. Somewhere where we could come together. We could talk purple and gold, the good, the bad, the ugly. We can be honest with ourselves. We can be honest with people who want to chime in from the outside world, and we can give it to them real about what's going on at PV, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of good that needs to be broadcasted, and we can do it right here on PV versus everybody. So I appreciate you, my guy, but I'm doing good, man.
Man, I appreciate it. And that's what we here for, right? You know what I'm saying? Just to talk, have a conversation. Like I always say, right? Here, we're the main course. We're not the side conversation, not the side dish, right? We're the main thing, right? You know what I'm saying? Just say 2009 is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Every time I hear it. Listen, I know y'all a little bit younger. All right. You know what I'm saying? But 2009 was the year. All right. For the 99 and 2000. You know,
hey, so somebody, I got something for you. Somebody asked me the other day, they say, man, 2009, like I couldn't even think about PV at 2009. I said, you know what happened in 2009? We set off Brookside. Like Brookside wasn't Brookside until 2009.
Listen. Man, listen. I don't even think Knights of Columbus is even open right now. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Like, it's just completely different history. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different right now. You know what I'm saying? But 2009 started a lot of stuff. Listen, y'all talking about the fish fries, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of stuff that started during that era that y'all don't know. The GMC that y'all know, that started during our area. So like. We had some stuff popping.
You preaching right now.
That day and age. You know,
preaching right now.
Had some stuff popping during that day and age, but man, I'm so excited to have you on, my guy. You just such a big advocate for HBCUs in general, everywhere, and I'm super excited to see where you've been able to to take your career. And I want to start off, man, before we even before we kind of got back and go into history, and before I even ask that question, just to make sure that we're on the same page. Let me make sure I put this on just to make sure if anybody out there watching, they know. Listen, hey, you know where I stand. I just want to make it clear, okay? So this is history right now, all right? But you know where I stand, just so everybody's on the same page, okay?
So if I hit this X button, I mean I leave, right? That's what that means.
Listen, 24-3, all right? Just so everybody know, we on the same page, all right? We good, we here, all right? So listen. All right, but much success to you, my guy. But I wanted to ask though, because Atlanta made a big move. Talking about purple and gold, man. Y'all went out and reached and got a guy that wore purple and gold. These last few years, who's really one of those guys. Saying Mr. Penix coming over from Washington. Talk about just what you guys saw in him and what you think he can bring to that Atlanta quarterback room. I know the people were really shocked. Obviously, y'all made a big signing in the offseason. You know what I mean? To bring a quarterback in, but what did you guys see just in him to say, man, we think this guy could be somebody that could be a part of our future? Because I know one thing, I wanted New Orleans to reach. You feel me? So I'm kind of sad that he's.
You sound nervous, is what you sound.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous because that's my guy.
You sound nervous.
That's my guy, right? That's my guy. But talk a little bit about that, man.
First of all, just coming to Atlanta. Raheem Morris, who I worked with here in LA, brought me here. And one of the things he pitched to me was he wanted me to be a part of his QB contingency. He so calls it, which is about, look at Jess, man.
That is hilarious.
But he brought me and wanted me to be a part of his QB contingency, which is basically a group of guys he put together to help him make decisions on the quarterback position.
Gotcha.
And so I was excited to come aboard and be a part of that process to, number one, sign Kirk Cousins, who, we expect to win a lot of games in year one, and it's because of Kirk and his leadership and what he's been through, and his ability to lead from the front and bring this young team that we have along. We also wanted to have a backup plan, and if the right guy was there at 8, we were going to take him, and it was kind of unanimous that Penix was that guy. I mean, and it starts with off the field, his ability to, be calm in all situations, whether he's down by 6, up by 6, late in the first quarter, he's the same guy. And which is a big thing for the quarterback position, his ability to hit all 53 1/3 of the field. Like every blade of grass he can reach with his arm. And so if you can do that, along with being a great leader, and being able to be calm when we need him to, and to be clutch when we need him to, and to be as accurate as he is on those intermediate and downfield throws, it was easy. Like if you're a YouTube person like I am, and you'll see a lot of these YouTube GMs talking about Penix, a lot of them said the same thing. Like the dude can fit it in anywhere. And we're excited to bring him into Atlanta. And in a few years, 4 years that Kirk has, Mike's going to step in. We're going to keep this thing rolling.
Man, yeah, I know you guys got to be excited about him. I'm excited about him, man, and to see what he was able to do in college. He's one of those guys that I'm hoping to see, do well in the NFL as well, along with like Jaden Daniels as well. You know what I'm saying? Those are some guys that I'm hoping to follow their career and see them, doing some great things. But, you talk about being brought in to be a part of this, guy that can make decisions, right, for Raheem Morris as a part of this collective regarding the QB room. there's a history there, right? You know, you didn't just start off as a person who can be brought into the room and go there, right? And so let's go back in history, go back in time, right? Because, you know, before you even got the PV, right? I know you were a guy coming up throughout, you know, your time in Florida, your time in Kentucky, a guy who loved football. When did you fall in love with the game of football, though? When was that time you say, man, this is when I knew, like, hey, I'm going to be close to this game for a long, long time?
It was early. A lot of people don't know, but my dad was a high school coach in the state of Florida. So I was born in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah. He was a high school coach at Raines High School, which, if you know anything about high school ball in Florida, Raines is one of those top tier programs that continuously puts out talent. He was the secondary coach, coaching the DBs there, and he coached Brian Dawkins, who he was at Brian Dawkins' Hall of Fame speech, and Brian Dawkins gave him a shout out for coaching him and being hard on him and helping him become who he is today. So I got to watch him. I got to watch Rod Gardner. I got to watch, there's Lito Shepherd. I mean, the list goes on and on of guys that my dad had a chance to coach before they blew up and became who they were. And my dad was there. And so that allowed me to be around those practices and those games at 4, 5, 6 years old, watching those guys run around and play the game and go into those famous Raines Ribault rivalry games in the state of Florida, which used to be packed out. So I learned early on, like, this is what I wanted to do. Now, my dad probably would have wished I'd played secondary or receiver. He played receiver at college, but I ended up picking the ball up and throwing it around a little bit. And you know, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is later, I'm coaching and playing quarterback. So, but it was early, man. It was early. I knew right away this is what I wanted to do. And God has blessed me to continue to do this.
That's what's up, man. That was going to be my other question is, you know, when did you, you know, after you chose the game of football, you know, when did you slide in and say, man, quarterback was the position for me? Did you play any other positions before you kind of really solidified?
Man, you see my highlights? I was a running back first now. They couldn't touch me. They couldn't touch me. And then just lo and behold, I could throw it a little bit too. So I got moved to quarterback probably. And I played both growing up. Middle school, I kind of started doing more quarterback. And then my freshman year of high school, I remember this is kind of funny. My first high school game, I was a freshman. So we're going through pregame warm-ups. And, you know, you're supposed to do a little tackling drill, like y'all was playing safety and quarterback. So we were doing practice. We were doing a tackling drill pregame. And I was going against the senior. Now, he was like 6 foot, 210, whatever. I was young. I'm a freshman, so I'm probably like 5'11", 6 foot, about 170, 165. And so we come and we meet. And he hits me so hard, my shoulder came out. Like, I walked off the field like, nah, bro, I'm not doing this tackling thing. Like, nah, I'm going to offense. So after that, I went to offense, and that was it. That was all she wrote, man.
That's crazy. I
learned pretty quick.
You on the tackling side, and you went to offense. Not even the other way around.
I ain't hitting nobody. Yeah, I got it.
That's crazy. Oh man, that is so funny. It's like you on the side, like, nah, I don't think I'd rather get tackled than even. Oh man, put my shoulder down though. Nah.
I got that. Let me throw the ball around though.
That's not. Oh man, that's so funny, man. I know we're in such a different day and age now. You know, you talk about the NIL. You know, talk about. I mean, period. Just talking about recruiting, right? I mean, just even from Twitter, right? You're able to touch people from so many different places, right? And I think when we're in school, right, that's when Twitter was even just getting popping, right? I mean, you know, when we're in college, that's when Facebook getting started. You needed a college account. People don't remember that, right? Like you had to have a school email, right? You know what I'm saying, to get on
showing
Facebook.
Your age right now. You're showing your age right now.
Hey, but listen, all I know is I covered KJ, right? You know what I'm saying, at the Panthers. So my age and his age was very close. That's all I know. So. But I'm just showing, right, the fact that it's a completely different day and age, right? You know what I'm saying? From what Facebook is now, right? What Twitter is now to what it was then. So when you talk about recruiting, completely different thought process, right? When you were coming up, when you made the decision to go to Western Kentucky, right? Made the decision to come to PV. Talk about that time and just those connections of how it was that how was that recruiting process for you, even landing on Western Kentucky, right? And then also that transition and what was going on, right, in those conversations to make you say, man, I'm going to come down to Prairie View at the FCS level and choose to play ball over here in Texas.
Well, recruiting back then in the mid 2000s was a little different, especially for me. I was in Louisville, Kentucky. So, and that's not a football haven. There's not a bunch of guys being pushed out, from that area back then. At least it's a little better now. But so recruiting was hard for me. I remember my senior year, my dad took me to, it had to be 10 to 15 different colleges in one summer, doing camps, visits, just trying to get people to get eyes on me that may have been sending letters, because I mean letters nowadays is a dime a dozen. There's nothing to send out letters. I was getting a bunch of letters, but there were very few teams that were really interested in me the way that West Kentucky was. And the coach that was coaching me at that time was Willie Taggart. He was the one that did the heavy recruiting, who now is in the NFL as a running back coach for the Ravens. But he was a legend at West Kentucky himself, playing quarterback. So he recruited me. He was the only reason I went to Western Kentucky. Other than that, I don't know where I would have been. I might have been at James Madison. I might have walked on at Louisville. I'm not sure. But Willie Taggart got me to Western Kentucky, and I enjoyed my 3 years there. But once he left and went to Stanford, it came pretty clear to me that I needed to move on and find somewhere where I could have that connection again with somebody that believed in me as a player and as a person. And so I remember there wasn't a transfer portal then. You just left. You just left, and you started. You had to sell yourself. You know what I mean? Because Twitter and Facebook had just really started to get off the ground, so there wasn't a lot of people on there like that, especially coaches. You know what I mean? It wasn't a lot of that. So I remember my dad sending out about 50 DVDs. Yeah, I know people are like, what is a DVD? But my dad was sending out DVDs, to schools, and lo and behold, Henry Frazier was one of maybe 5 or 6 that responded with phone calls consistently, pitching Houston, Texas, pitching Prairie View A&M, got me excited. It was either going to be PV or Texas Southern, to be honest with you. So I remember going to PV first and having a great time. Funny story, so all my fans will know this. On my visit, I remember, so when you enter campus, you make that left to head towards the stadium. Mm-hmm. And so I remember on my visit, you got to remember now, this is before Panther Stadium. Now, like it was like a high school, like it was not a real stadium. You know what I mean? It was high schoolish.
It's black.
So I remember going down, I'm coming down, and we're passing the band building. I'm looking at it, and I asked Frazier and Mike Bryant, OC, they were driving me around. I said, "Hey, is that the football stadium right there?" And they were like, "Yeah." And they bust a quick right and passed it up, and they never took me back to the field. So they hid the field from me and the locker rooms and the coaches out. They hid all that. They did not pitch anything about that because, of course, it's not, you don't go and pitch a 3,000 foot stadium, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or a 3,000 seat stadium. You don't pitch that. So they pitch the people. They pitch who I'd be working with, who I'd be playing with, who I'd be able to go to class with. Yeah. That's how they got me to PV. So I didn't go for the football. I went for the people. And lo and behold, we ended up, making history, and it became what it became. But, the people got me there. And that's why I love Prairie View so much, because I could see what it's become. And I loved it way before then. So, that's how I got to PV, man. I got to PV because of Henry Frazier, because of Mike Bryant, because of Anthony Whedon. Anthony Whedon was my roommate in college, so we go way back. I mean, I went because of the people, bro. And I always go back because of the people.
Yeah, man. And that's really what it was about. I see Kenya here. Listen, that stadium was small, but we had a time.
A great time. Listen, great time. People was 3-4 deep around the fence watching games.
We was rocking out during those times, man. It was crazy, you know what I mean, to think about how small the stadium was. And I remember when I first got to Prairie View, and I was just looking, I was like, man, this is like such a beautiful campus. Everybody think I'd be saying that just to say that, but I'm like, no, literally, like this is what I went to the University of Washington. I went to so many schools when I was looking at schools, but I was like, man, Prairie View is like one of the most beautiful campuses I've seen. It was like only thing they need, literally the only thing they need is a stadium. Like if they had the stadium, everything would have been like perfect, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I remember saying that to my dad during that time when I came out. And so, yeah, but the people, man, it's like the connections we were able to make there during that time, it's such a blessing. And obviously, we're happy to have you come down, because you were able to do some big things, you and that squad, during that 2009 year. And that's why when I talk and I tell a lot of people, say, during the time I was PV, listen, we was getting, Frazier was getting the job done. So I had no connection to what even happened before in the past. All I know is right then. And we was getting the job done, right? You know what I'm saying? Like really it was almost like 3 years in a row. It's like, listen, we was like this close to doing it time and time again, right? You know what I mean? And so, talk about just that team, man. Talk a little bit actually about Coach Frazier, man, because, you hear, a lot of the stories, about, Coach Frazier and some of, just who he was, right? His personality, but also who he was just as a person, right? You know what I mean? And some of the connections he was able to even make with some of his players, even past, right, the time that he's playing. So just talk a little bit about Coach Frazier and what he meant to you guys, right? During that time that you guys were on campus.
Frazier is a special individual, man. Like he is again, he's the reason why we're here right now.
Yeah.
He is, to me, I don't even look at him as a football coach. Like, he's just a mentor, someone that I look to for guidance. I've called him a few times, just randomly asking, for advice or just talking to him. He's all that before a football coach. And I think that's the ultimate, honor, in my opinion. That's how I want people to look at me, is, he coached football, but he was more than that. He was more than that. And Frazier was that for me, even as a head coach. I remember there were very few times where I would go and pick his brain about football while I was playing. Like, that was for Mike Bryant, in my mind. I went to him for that. Me and Frazier talked about life. We talked about situations during the game, maybe, but it was never just big X and O's. Now, come to find out, he was pretty good himself when he played. But, Frazier is just that model of consistency. The father figure for some of the guys that maybe didn't have a father, I imagine he was that for them. And he's just inspirational, man. And he's still learning. He's still leading today. I do nothing. I have nothing but respect for that man. And if he ever called me, he's called me a few times trying to get me to come work for him. But he finally, when he did get a job, I was in the NFL. So that's the only reason why it didn't happen. But man, I owe a lot to that man. And he is the ultimate leader. And I hope everybody gets a chance to learn and to work for Henry Frazier one day, because you will not regret it.
Man, that's big, man. And like we always say, hey, it's the house that Frazier built.
I'm telling you. Listen, I went on my visit, and again, they hid the stadium from me until the last second. I had to go watch the game. It was senior day 2008. I think we're playing Pine Bluff. And before the game, he kind of like elbowed me because I was on the sideline. He was kind of talking to me. He said, "Listen," he said, "you see, we don't have a big stadium. But when you see these boys run around and make plays," he said, "we'll talk about it afterwards." I said, "All right, let me see what you got." When me and him would always joke around. Man, they put up like 50 points against PB that game. Like, they were doing all types of crazy. Anthony Weeden was flipping and jumping in the end zone. Him and Sean Stevens going crazy. Anthony Beck was doing his thing, who was All-American safety back then. Quentin Spears in the NFL was getting sacks. I was like, man, these dudes are loaded. They just need a quarterback. And Donald Babers, who's probably one of the best backs PB ever had, was doing his thing. Like, it was easy. And you got a head coach like that and talent like that, there's no way I could turn it down.
Man, that's I always wonder, when you guys during that time, that 2008, 2009, 2010, just all of those years, or just say during the 2009 season, do you guys understand the impact did you really at that time understand? I know you guys are going out saying, man, you want to win a championship. We want to get over the hump, right? Want to bring a championship here. It hasn't been a while, but did you really understand the impact that you guys were having during that time, during that year?
We talked about it, but it never became real to me until we beat Grambling. We beat Grambling in 2009 for the first time, and it was like, what I remember from what I've been told, decade. It was a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember after that game going into the stands, and there were fans crying because they had never seen PV beat Grambling. It was that big. Like, I remember multiple times people coming and telling me, "We thank you so much. You guys, your team, y'all are paving PV in a new light. We've never seen PV beat Grambling." And I'm like, "What? Never?" And I'm talking, these are women, men, young kids, all of them. Just like, man, it was so big. And so I remember after that game talking to the Whedons and those guys like that, and they're like, "Yeah, man, like PV ain't won a championship in what years."
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like, we could really do something. So, like, this let's make history thing isn't just a saying. Like, they were really serious about being different and making a difference in PV football history, man. So for me, after that Grambling game, it changed everything.
Man, that's big, and that's one thing, and it's funny, talking with Coach Whedon, I be looking through the archive sometimes, and I remember finding the video and seeing him just like rallying all the guys from the 2009 team, and it's just looking like, man, you literally are the same person,
Same cat.
Same cat.
You just ain't got the dress no more.
Yeah, literally, right? So it's super dope, man, to have him back. And one thing he has talked about, even ever since our first interview, was about legacy, right? You know what I'm saying? About, yes, we did and we accomplished something, but he felt like, man, he left something that we at that time wasn't able to can keep it going, right, and continue it. And so for him, hearing it out of his voice is like, man, this me coming back at this time is like, because I had unfinished business, you know what I'm saying, to continue this legacy beyond just me. And I think when I look at what you're doing, I feel like that's one thing that you're doing, right, by taking these opportunities, right. And I know that it's been a long trail to get there, right. But you're paving the way because talking to just different, especially coaches in the SWAC, so I mean, we don't a lot of times get those opportunities, right, to make those jumps like that, right. And I think you representing us in those rooms is so huge, you know what I mean. And so I really shout out to those guys that open those opportunities for this diversity, I'm saying, instituting for you to be able to have that opportunity. What was it like? What was your thought process when you first got the call to even be, even this in consideration, to have a chance to go into those NFL rooms, and to be able to add value there, you know what I'm saying?
It's always been a goal of mine, an ambition of mine, something for me personally to be a quarterback coach in the NFL. And the reason it's always been something I've strived for whenever I decided to make, coaching my life after playing. But it's just, I never, growing up, I didn't see a lot of guys that looked like me that coach a position that I coached.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is another reason why I started at Western Kentucky, because my quarterback coach is black. He was the only one. All the rest of them that approached me were white. You know what I mean? So, and I've never shared that, but that's why I went to Western. Like the connection me and Willie Taggart had, it wasn't even close to anybody else. No matter how much other people called me and I spent time with them and tried to initiate, that relationship and take it where they tried to take it, it never could touch the way Willie Taggart came to my house, sat down and had a conversation with me and my parents, like we've known each other for years. And now looking at where I am now, that's all I want to do is continue what's been kind of ushered in these last 5, 10, 15 years of black coaches now as quarterback coaches. And I'm looking to do that as long as I can. I'm glad I'm at this level. You talked about getting into this level and what those conversations were like. The first time I got a call was from Thomas Brown, who's now in Chicago. He called me and he was even saying, I have the opportunity to, select our Bill Walsh internship candidate, and I want to select a black quarterback coach. And so I want to interview you because I've heard nothing but good things about you, about your IQ and who you are as a person. I want to interview you because I think you might be a fit for what I'm looking for. That's how I got it. Like I had applied once. That was the first time I applied for the internship. He just so happened to be looking for a black quarterback coach. We interviewed for a couple of hours, and he was like, "Man, you're exactly what I want." A couple of weeks later, I was in LA for that training. So, shout out to him for giving me that opportunity. 3 years later, I'm still in the league. I talked to him maybe a couple of weeks ago, but he gave me this opportunity. I'm forever grateful, and I'm looking to go as high and as far as I can for as long as I can. And then, like I said, I never know where I'll be, but as long as I'm coaching quarterbacks and making a difference for people that look like me to play the position that I play, I think I'm doing okay.
Wow, that's awesome, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about, we just think about network. We talk about it so much and just, make, who you are, right? The brand that you create as a person, right? You know what I'm saying? Not just a business or entity that's standoffish from you, right? But you as a person, right? Because that it's meaningful how you treat people. It's meaningful what you make people remember about you, because it's those people that you connected with that will put the word in the ear of, a gentleman and say, "Hey man, I've heard good things about." I mean, somebody had to be speaking about you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important for all of us to remember. Anybody even that's watching here now, it's like, hey man, like you got to remember that, like you have no idea of the communication that the people you walk by every day can have on your behalf. You know what I'm saying? To place you in the room. It's not even necessarily about that, right? It's just the fact that, man, wherever you place, man, just be good to people. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Just be good to people, man. But it's always, the Lord is always going to come back and take care of you, you know what I'm saying, at that right time. And obviously in the room with the Rams, man, had a great experience, I know, out there. And now getting a chance to get the call to go to Atlanta with Raheem Morris. I mean, how meaningful is that, right? You talked about, right, being able to have a black quarterback coach, right, at Western Kentucky. Talked about how that was something that's so momentous in your life and experience of what you want to be. And now you have a chance to work under not just be in the NFL, not just be a black quarterback coach, but also work with a black head coach, right? Which is something that has been a part of the conversation, right, over the last few years about the opportunities that we have gotten, right, to be in those positions. How meaningful is this, right, to be a part of this room, right, under Raheem Morris?
It's big. It's huge. Especially in Atlanta. It's chocolate city.
Yeah, that's bad.
This is the first. This is the first black head coach in Atlanta.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
It's crazy to think about. But I remember talking to Raheem, and we were just kind of joking about it when he got it. He was like, "This is the one I wanted." He's like, "There's never been a better time to be a black head coach and to do it in Atlanta."
Yeah.
Why not? Especially with the talent that we have this year, man. We're looking to not take any steps back. We're looking to step forward. We're looking to be a playoff team right off the bat. But I get a chance to work with, Zach Robinson, who was in LA as well. So me and him, he was the quarterback coach on my internship. So I spent time with him then. That was my introduction to the league, was spending time to him. 3 years later, he brings me with him on his first OC job. So that goes back to relationships that you talk about. You never know when you're on an interview. Like every day was an interview for me. I remember being in those rooms with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, man, and just wanted to make sure that I left an impression. Whether I said one word or not, I left an impression that it was important to me. I knew it was going on. And if you ask me a question, I'm going to be spot on every time because it was important to me. And so, that goes back to exactly what you were saying. You never know what one comment, one interaction, one mishap will do for your future. You just don't know. You don't know what impact that one decision you make or one comment you make or one whatever it may be. It just takes one. It just takes one person to believe in you and to think that you can do what they're asking or needing at that time. And lucky for me, I'm blessed with this opportunity to be with Raheem Morris, who, funny enough, I hadn't met him before LA, but it's funny how things go full circle. I actually met him at an award ceremony when I won Player of the Year in Black College. That was our interaction. That was our first time meeting. And so he brings it up all the time that he said, you've been working for 3 years. I've known you for working for 3 years, but I've known you for a long time. I said, yeah. So
that's crazy.
Right. He was the head coach in Tampa. At the time, he was a young guy. He was like in his 30s. And we were at an award banquet. We sat right next to each other, and that was our introduction. We met, talked that whole time, and 15 years later, I'm working for him. So
wow. That's crazy. Yeah, things come. I mean, those full circle moments be crazy like that, though.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. So, talk about, being an offensive analyst in the NFL, right? I know a lot of people, hear about these different job types. What is the focus, right, of an offensive analyst, right? Is it based on different organizations, different coaches, look for you guys to kind of handle different aspects of the job? Kind of give us a little bit of breakdown of kind of what's the focus of an analyst.
Well, so there's two different, I guess, titles. There's an offensive analyst, right, which is mainly off field, doing reports and analytical stuff like that, just trying to find out any type of advantage that could be created based on the data that's presented, whether it be numerical or trends, whatever you want. There's so much. I think analytics has gone so far in the NFL and still continues to find its way. And then there's offensive assistant, which is what I am. So I'm an offensive assistant, which allows me to be the assistant to a position coach.
Gotcha.
So every position has at least two coaches in the room. And so for us, again, I mentioned the quarterback contingency, which is what Raheem Morris brought me there for, but he can't have 6 quarterback coaches. So he asked me to go to the receiver room, which now I'm assisting Ike Hilliard. But my job, from what Raheem has told me and what I've been able to do so far, is bring the quarterback thought process, bring the quarterback mentality to the receiver room.
Gotcha.
So those guys just don't get, hey, this is the routes for the day. This is what it is. I'm helping those guys know, hey, you need to run this route like this because the quarterback is thinking you'll be here at this second, or he's expecting you to be at this spot. So you need to do this thing. So I'm getting to learn it twofold. I'm getting to learn how to run the receiver room while also still getting my quarterback teaching and understanding. I'm getting both of those at the same time. So
wow,
you got analysts, which you'll see some guys being titled, and offensive assistants.
Gotcha.
Offensive assistants are kind of like the number twos. in the position rooms.
Gotcha. So like the number 2 positional coaches, essentially,
Yes,
offensive assistants. That's dope. And I feel like I see that a lot, right? I mean, you'll see a guy who used to be working with the DBs or safeties, right? And you can see him flipped over to now he's working on the offensive side of the room with the receivers, and it makes sense because you've been thinking with this mindset from a position of, okay, what am I doing, or how am I trying to cover right on this side, and now I can go take that knowledge right to the receivers. So it makes so much sense when you talk about it, right, of okay, if I can kind of impart the knowledge of what a quarterback is thinking to the receivers, now that's gonna help them in so many different aspects, so many different ways. So
I mean, I can't tell you how many times in the spring they would come to me and say, KJ, why ain't I get the ball? Like, what's the quarterback doing? And I got to explain to them, he had to move his feet based on the structure of this defense, he wasn't even thinking about you, bro. Like you running the route for the life of the game, bro, for the love of the game. So it's not your fault. Like,
oh man, you saving a lot of arguments. You know what I'm
saying? I'm trying. I hope they get to me before they get to Kurt. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Man, that's dope, man. Now it's awesome. I know also, what I'm saying, doing spring camp, right? You in the wide receiver room. So I know what is that experience like then? You getting a chance to work with the wide receivers and having 2 HBCU guys, right? That had a chance to be in that room. I know Kadero Hodge, right, is a guy, obviously, PV grad, right, that's over there with the Atlanta Falcons. And I know I forget his name, right, but from Alcorn, there's also Chris Blair, that's what it is, right? That's also in that room as well. Talk about, a little bit about that, man, being able to see, some other HBCU guys that's also having a chance to get their feet wet. And obviously, Hodge has been doing it for multiple years now, right? You know what I'm saying? But also Chris as well, man, and some of the other HBCU guys that you're able to run into just throughout the league.
All right, so I'm about to, hopefully I can turn some Saints fans, some Texans fans, and some Falcons fans with this.
That is not. So
y'all stay with me right here.
They ain't real fans if that's gonna happen.
Well, stay with me. You never know. Stay with me.
All right.
So we don't have 2. We got 4 HBCU receivers in the room. All right. So we got Kadero Hodge, who going into his 7th year, who I coached. I was the quarterback coach when he was at PV. He was the receiver, so we go way back.
Right.
That shows you how he's the oldest guy in the room. Funny thing, he's only 29. He's the oldest guy in the room. Chris Blair, you mentioned, who was a standout at Alcorn, the dog, big boy. I'm expecting him to come onto the scene this year and stake his claim. We also have Dalen Baldwin, who played at Jackson State a few years ago and then went to Michigan, if you remember Dalen Baldwin. Okay. Then we got Hilaire, O'Day Hilaire, who was at Alabama A&M a couple years ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the dog at A&M. So we got all 4 of those guys.
Okay.
So the Falcons, and there's going to be an ESPN story here coming out soon about how we pretty much have an HBCU receiver room. Definitely having HBCU receivers in the league, but man, those guys, they can all play. They all have a chance to make the roster, man. And let me just tell you this, bro. Just because you go to an HBCU don't mean you can't make it to the league.
Yeah.
Them dudes can flat out play, and there's a lot of guys that can flat out play. And it's okay that we may have to come from the bottom. We may have to start from the bottom. But if you a dog, just like Xavier Smith, I had to bring him from FAMU to LA.
Yeah.
He received one of the smallest. I hope he's okay with me telling this, but he received one of the smallest free agent deals that year. But he's still in LA right now. He's got a chance to make that 53 this year because he's a dog.
No, that's big. You just need an opportunity.
Because we have to get it out the mud don't mean we can't make we can't make it rain. So
now you just need a chance, man, to get on the field. Obadiah say happy to say Cowboys fans because we're not budging.
I owe the Cowboys. I ain't beat the Cowboys yet. I'm so sick of them. We got to get them this year.
How many do you guys got? Any HBCU guys on the defensive side of the ball?
I think we have one. It's a corner, but you gotta forgive me, bro. I'm still learning names. Like I'm still learning names.
Okay. It's okay. That's not enough though. So basically, I hope y'all put up a lot of points, but hopefully y'all get a lot of points put up on y'all too. You know what I'm saying? That's how we gonna balance that out right there. You know what I'm saying? We y'all win some games, but it can't be winning no divisional games, stuff like that, man. Listen, the Saints. Listen, I win.
I'm just letting you know, y'all gonna have a rough year, so just get ready.
Hey, listen. Hey, you ain't hear me screaming nothing about the Saints though. I've been about
PV. I'm glad you know.
I've been screaming about PV, not about the Saints. Okay. we gotta get our act together. So you ain't hear me talking about nothing. You know what I mean about that black and gold, man. But man, also, man, I know, talking with Coach Bubba, you hear him even just from the SWAC media day the other day, and one thing he said that obviously I know a lot of people caught even a couple months back was like, as they was looking for a guy, to bring in that offensive coordinator position in that room, when Anthony Whedon's name came up, he said, when I got a call from KJ, and I've heard him say it like 3 times now, right? You know what I'm saying? So he said, when I got a call from KJ, I knew like, all right, this the guy, right? You know what I'm saying? And so, talk a little bit about, I know you said that you played, with Whedon, back in 2009 season. Talk a little bit about, why you were able to even put your name, right? You know what I'm saying? And reach out and say, man, hey, I think this would be a great guy for PV right now, man. What was it about him and what you've seen as he's matriculated even through his career that said, man, I think he'll be a great OC for PV Nation?
I think the first thing for me, at least, when I thought about even making a call to try to recommend Whedon, because I also had some other friends that wanted a job, so it wasn't just Whedon that I recommended, but I mean, you got to look at the resume. Whedon has done it, and he's done it at a high level. Even for being a guy, at a young age for the position, he's got experience and he's got the numbers. You go back and look at his offense at Campbell the last couple of years; they've been pretty well. They've been putting up 30+ points the last couple of years easily.
Yeah.
And if you just want to, and the big thing that stuck out to me is he had a quarterback that just signed with Utah. So,
yeah, so UNLV,
UNLV, excuse me,
yeah.
who has one of the hottest coordinators in the game. So his ability to, number one, recruit talent, but also put those guys in position to be, talented and showcase their talent. He's done that already. Secondly, you get a local guy who's from Stafford, right? So he gets a chance to go home and help you continue to recruit Houston, help the Houston area recruiting wise. A guy that can come into the locker room and tell guys about what it was like before we had what we have today. A guy that's done it and is an All-American at the same university. It's hard to beat that. And he's got the energy. He's got the knowledge. I mean, me and Whedon used to swap ideas. We would be on the sideline between games talking about routes and what plays need to be called, and he would be recommending plays to Mike Bryant. Like, this dude has been a coach before he was a coach. So it was a no-brainer for me. If I ever become a head coach, Whedon's going to be one of the first calls I make.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to recommend him, and he's going to knock it out of the park. I can't wait to watch him put up points with the chaos offense, and he knows he's done it a couple of times. But if he calls me, I'm gonna give him everything he needs. And what kind of play you need, bro? I got you. So
yeah,
he is perfect for Bubba, to help Bubba out, bring a different spin to the offense, and put up points, because it used to be defense wins championships. I'm not so sure that that's the case anymore. I think offense is kind of taking over the game, and if you can't score, you can't win. And he definitely can do that, and I can't wait to watch it.
No, that's real. That's real. I mean, it makes sense coming from an offensive guy though, too, as well. But I feel you. Yeah, you got to put up points, man. You got to put up points, in this day and age, man. And I know you obviously been able to be at the Rounds, be at the Falcons now. What are you looking at, man, in the next 5 years to say, hey, this is where I'm looking to be. This is where I'm looking to take my career. And this is the trajectory I want to be on. I know you talk about, want to be a quarterback coach, right? But talk about 5 years from now. What do you want that when we look and we say, man, we see KJ Black and we're going to be looking to see this is what he's going to be doing in that time frame?
Well, I'd be lying if I would say, I just want to be a quarterback coach forever. That's definitely something that I would not fret at all about. But I would also be lying if I didn't say I don't have that itch to have my own, whether it's my own offense or my own team. That itch is starting to creep in a little bit. So I don't know when that will be, if it's 5, 10, 15, I don't know. But I'm kind of getting to that point to where I want my own. I want to test my own abilities to lead grown men coaching and, the young men playing the game, and kind of see what it looks like. So, and maybe not in 5 years, maybe 10 years, I don't know. You never know when time is time. The Lord will let me know. But I'm definitely starting to get those thoughts, those little notes are being written down about when I get my opportunity. This is what I want to do. So
yeah,
I don't know when that is, but maybe 5, maybe 10 years.
Yeah, you're starting to feel in there. So now the Lord is building those build blocks for you to be prepared when you get there to really truly take advantage of it. So that's super dope. I mean, hey, listen, I can't wait to turn on Madden and be like, oh, I'm playing with that KJ Black offense today. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We're gonna play with that KJ Black.
I need a name. You see, we ain't got that chaos offense. I got to come with something better than that, so I can tell them.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The chaos offense. You know, hey, you try to move a little quick. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Try to move a little fast. But yeah, you got to have a good name to go with it. You ain't gonna make sense. You don't got a good name to go with it though. So yeah. So, but yeah, man. So last but not least, I don't know if you've seen the show, but you know how we do it at the end, man. Listen, we got the check. So I don't know if you know, but it's PV Nation. Why not PV? So this year, we writing big checks, man. So for you yourself, 2024, what's the big check that KJ Black is writing for himself in 2024? I know it's nothing about the Falcons, but you know. Nah,
the big check I'm writing. The big check I'm writing is I will continue to keep the main thing in my life, which is my family, making sure that I know and continue to keep football at work and keep my family in my heart and at home.
That's good. Yeah, I like that.
Even though I'm at this level of football, I will never succumb to it being bigger than it is. It is definitely what I do. It's definitely who I am. But I'm also a father first. I'm a husband first.
Yes.
So I've got to do that stuff first. Then the football can come after that. I feel like every time that I've tried to do too much in football, it never worked out. So if I can keep it under control, even though this is a big year, a lot of expectations, a lot going on, but my family comes first. So, that's the check that I'm going to write, and I hope my wife's not watching this. She's probably going to come down and be like, yep, you better write that check. But, but between all of us, that's the check that I'm writing.
That's what's. Hey, listen, that's a big check, and I think that's a check that all of us, especially as men that are ambitious, right, and that have goals, that's a check we have to keep in front of us, right? Because we can accomplish a lot of stuff, but if we don't accomplish it with the people that we're supposed to be there with, then it won't even be as meaningful in the first place. So,
hey, but I'm also cashing the check that PV gonna win it this year. I've been talking big noise.
Hey,
I've been talking big noise. So,
hey, listen. That's a check that is going to get cash regardless. So you might as well put your name on it too.
You're supposed to already have it written on the check. I don't know why you don't have it written on the check already.
Hey, listen, you don't listen. Hey, we got some stuff in the works. Okay, you know what I'm saying? First of all, we done made t-shirts. Okay, so listen,
I'm gonna order one too. Since I said that, I'm gonna order one. I'm gonna order.
Okay, you got. By the way, you know what I'm saying? So, because we got t-shirts that's already been out there. So, boys already got y'all t-shirts. I know some people done said they t-shirt that came in already. So, we doing some big things. We ain't hiding. We out front with it. Out front with it. You know what I'm saying? So, nobody can say we ain't warned them about what's coming because the chaos coming. The chaos is coming. Sid asked the question too, man. So, and I asked you this too as well before we go. What's your thoughts about PV's QB room? Because I know obviously there's a new room right now. So what are your thoughts about some of the guys that they're signed and they brought in?
I'm not going to get to names. I know every name that's in the QB room because I know the quarterback or the OC. I know we just got a quarterback coach. I know the OC, so I know them all. I ain't worried about quarterback.
Hey, that's all.
I'm not worried about quarterback.
Hey, listen, as long as KJ Black not worried about quarterback, then how can KJ not be worried about quarterback? And y'all want me to be worried about quarterback?
I'm not worried about it. Look, I'm not saying it's going to be all American, but I'm not worried about quarterback. Quarterback is not our issue right now.
So listen, that's. I mean, all I'm saying is, if you ain't worried, can't nobody get me to worry. That's all I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm super excited. You know what I'm saying about what's going on with the nation right now, man. The main thing is y'all getting out right. You know what I'm saying, and us getting this job done together. Obviously, we're saluting the 2009 championship team this year. So super excited about also recognizing you guys for what you guys did during that time. And I always say, right, you guys were the capstone of a lot of guys, right, that even came before you. And, you represent a lot of those guys who came and who played through those hard years, played when we didn't have scholarships or minimal scholarships, right? So you guys are really the culmination of all of that came before. But it's really an ode to just all of those different years. And I think that's what we're really going to be celebrating, at the beginning of this year. And I'm so happy that Whedon is there as a guy who was connected to that, to bring us the bridge over to what I feel like is like I call the new PV, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, I'm super excited about what we're going. Says he glad to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, trust me, I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
Yeah, I'm not worried. And listen, I'm happy with the signal caller. That's why I need to know. The one thing I know is, and I love my guy Haj Malik, but listen, that completion percentages went up both years that Whedon was there. So that's all I know. So listen, that's all I need to know. Okay, so as long as he calling the plays, I feel like we're gonna be straight. Okay,
I'm not worried, and we got talent. So we're gonna be all right.
Listen, that's all I need to know. But man, hey, I really appreciate you for jumping on the platform, man, and representing. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us again. And I was gonna say this, and so since you did bring it up, because I've been having people, because you know how black people are. Black people always want to do stuff late. You know what I'm saying? Because I put the t-shirts out. I told boys, listen, I gave y'all a deadline on these t-shirts. Now everybody hit me up like they want t-shirts. Okay. So, but what I am gonna do, I am going to release another opportunity for y'all to get some shirts. But now, listen, I'm not doing this again. I ain't got no t-shirt company, all right? So I ain't about to be just going back and forth with t-shirts, right? But I'm going to open up another opportunity, all right? Because, listen, it's Why Not PV 2024 Swag Champs. It's already on there. It's already written. This is what's the July 22nd. So can't nobody say we ain't tell y'all what was about to happen, all right? Because that's what's about to go down, man. So, again, any last words, man, for PV Nation before we get out of here? They say BTA 2 out 24.
I love that one. Yeah, that's what we need on a shirt. BTA tour. That's what we need on a shirt. But
BTA tour.
No, man. hey, get that on the shirt. I'm gonna wear that one to Monday Night Football, so I'm trying to get it on TV. But
that would be hilarious. Yeah.
But when was that record set? The attendance record? Was it the first game in 2016?
No.
So
that was actually a game against Alabama State that I think was a homecoming game. I want to say that was the next year. I can look it up real quick because
I remember the very first game in the new stadium when we played Texas Southern.
That was 14,000 like 892. I think that's the second highest. Yeah, that's the second highest.
Okay.
Yeah, but the first one was Alabama State. Yeah,
we need to beat that. That needs to be continue to be pumped out not only by everybody that's in this chat, but we need to talk to whoever the powers that be in the athletic department. We need to push that out. Let's break the record. Let's not even make it close, and do the same on the field. Because if we show up, the players are going to show out. So everybody continues to support. This is the year. This is the year that we're going to break through and get that next championship, and it'll be the first of many. And I'm excited, man. Excited to watch these guys do their thing and watch Bubba lead them. So it's always purple and gold forever.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. And that was 2016, October 8, 2016. So it must have been the homecoming game that first year. The Texas game was second high, 14,982. But yeah, I feel like that's nothing, man. I feel like we can definitely easily.
But that just goes to show you that it hadn't been the same since it opened. So we got to get back to filling the stands.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, man. But man, I appreciate you for jumping on, man. Hey, PV Nation, y'all know what to do. I'm gonna run it again before we get up out of here. But I'm excited about all what we got going, man, with the no script, right? You know what I'm saying? Just everything that's going on. Like, you can feel the momentum building. And so if we want to cap it off, it's gonna be nothing like capping it off like being there. So when our guys come out and they look up and they see us there, yeah, man, that's the energy that they need. So yeah, man, if you ain't got your season tickets yet, make sure you grab your season tickets. Hey, Section 107 is only 2 tickets left. All right. So we almost have sold out the section. We've been pushing that since like January. Section almost sold out, man. So make sure y'all get y'all season tickets. And even if you can't come to every game, listen, get your season tickets. If we need to gift them, all right, we can figure out a way to gift them, and get some other people out there to check out some games, man, because we're really trying to build so the community also can be PV fans as well, because that's where we're trying to go with it. So, but man, appreciate you, KJ, for jumping on, man. I can't wait to see all these HBCU receivers getting the job done on the field. As long as y'all lose to the Saints, then we gonna stay cool. You know what I'm saying? But
we're coming to New Orleans, we're gonna eat y'all food and we're gonna take that W back today.
Don't text me, don't call me, don't reach out, don't do nothing. I don't want to see your name at all during that week. You know what I mean? But if we win though, I'll be right there.
I'm leaving you on red. If y'all win, I'm leaving you on red.
It's even better. I can't wait. He's like, all right, he can't even look yet. That means I know he saw it. All right. But all right, man, I appreciate you for jumping on. Hey, PV Nation, until next time, we'll holler at y'all.